don't count Hillary out, you know. I think that she's still in it. She's not completely knocked out. I've never believed she'd be knocked out. I've always seen her very dominant in 2009, no matter what capacity she's in. But she's always been dominant with martial law. And so martial law could come as early as September of this year. And I think you'll know when martial law comes, because what they're going to do is get rid of the big mouths first. And so you'll see the internet pretty much take a shake overnight. A lot of big mouths disappearing. I think that's pretty much how you'll know when martial law is going to come about. But I think with all of them dropping over dead and having to hide in bases, I think that itself will be the impetus of martial law. I don't think an economy crash or whatever, and we do see that coming, always have for September. And we've always known the economy is going to bust, folks. We've just been hanging on a shoestring on that one. And a lot of things could happen all at once, but remember, I've always said the bathtub effect. And so always watch out for that, because the bathtub effect, as the water starts to get towards the bottom of the tub, it starts going out very quickly. And as one end-time prophetic event starts to happen, they're all going to happen boom, boom, boom very quickly together. And so, keep watching out for that bathtub effect. Another thing I wanted to mention tonight, as I keep looking back at March, and I know I've talked about it back in March, and I was laughing about how we had brought the Capricorn down, and never more sure of it as I am now that it was exactly what happened. We brought the Capricorn down, and what was going on back then, I'll recap it, is that our government had announced that we had a satellite named Temple 1, I think it was, or whatever, had gone errant, and they were going to have to shoot it out of the sky. And so they had made this big dramatic thing because they put a carrier ship out into the Pacific and off the coast of Hawaii or whatever. They're ready to shoot it down if it didn't break up coming and re-entry coming towards the Earth. And I knew then that Satan has this, I don't know what you want to call it, a ship, a rock, a little moon, I don't know what you want to call it. But it's called the Capricorn. It's his ship. It's where he travels in. It's his habitat. And this whole Ashtar command resides in this Capricorn. And this Ashtar command is also who Sananda and Maitreya and all them are coming from. And this Capricorn had malfunctioned. And so they were afraid that if it malfunctioned, there was a lot of dead aliens in it, thousands, perhaps millions. A handful of them left alive, because the Lord needs a handful of them still to serve His purposes still. Sananda was left alive, possibly Maitreya and the others as well. I don't know if Maitreya was with Sananda at the time. Sananda is this Jesus that I've been warning you about, and Capricorn's always been his main spaceship or home or whatever you want to call it. But it did malfunction, and it was coming out of the skies, and so they didn't want anybody on Earth to see it. And so they had to be careful, because if it didn't burn up on re-entry, they were going to blow it up and shoot missiles at it. Well, either way, if they shot missiles at it or it just fragmented in pieces or whatever and hit the Pacific, it did hit parts of the Pacific. And so, the Lord brought something to my mind the other day about Revelation chapter 12, about the war in heaven and Satan being cast out of the heavens. And woe to the earth and the sea. And so I'm thinking, well, the Capricorn went in the sea, and I know that was Satan's spaceship or home or whatever you want to call it. So I'm really starting to think, folks, that the tribulation period itself, we could be in a mid-trib time right now, if you wanted to throw an analysis on the whole thing, and a theoretic that the tribulation period, second half, possibly could have started in March of this year, March of 2008. Because we got the Capricorn cast out of heaven. Remember that the Lord uses people to fulfill His purposes. I know that Revelation speaks with a lot of imagery and symbolism, but remember, a lot of it is just to mask things so we'll understand it. John was trying to describe things he was seeing. The Lord had to make it easy for John to describe. But I think that's exactly what he was seeing. I think right now, I've been talking about the crashing UFOs, and we've had tons of them since March. People describing seeing meteors flashing across the sky, or seeing flashes of light across the sky, and I've told you those are UFOs, because the orgone we do have out has permeated the atmosphere. It's permeated aerospace, not just our atmosphere, but space as well, and that's what's causing these UFOs to malfunction. It's what caused the Capricorn to malfunction. And if they even breathe the air that Orgone's in, it makes them sick and eventually kills them. And it's interesting that Capricorn was the first thing to come out of the sky because of the Orgone, and now all these other UFOs, these little UFOs, are following. And so I do think that we are in the middle, somewhere in the middle of Revelation chapter 12. The war on the saints is around the corner. This Maitreya, this Islam beast that's coming, I've always said there's 4 beasts that I kept seeing in the codes: a woman beast, black beast, Arabian beast, and an Aramaean beast. The Aramaean beast being this Jesus Sananda that's coming, black beast being, or the Arab beast being Maitreya, black beast, Negro beast is Obama, and the female beast being Eve. I know that's going to shock a lot of you. She's going to come as Mary, Sananda's mother, and all this, but it's Eve. And so there's 4 beasts that are coming, and the Negro beast, the black beast, dies. And I also believe that there's a good chance the black horse, which Maitreya represents because he's famine, will also die. So we could see the death of both of those. I think that they're going to have a time to where they can push Islam over the world, create civil chaos in one country after the next, and martial law. And this could be the scenario where they play good aliens, bad aliens, or good messiahs, bad messiahs things. Because they could, Maitreya could die along with this Obama and get rid of the Islam beast, and then Jesus arrives and says, "Oh, that was Satan. That was the Antichrist prophesied in the Bible. Now I'm here, and I'm going to establish my kingdom on earth." And then all of a sudden we take a 180. We go from persecutions and martial law to where this Jesus and Sananda try to establish a kingdom of heaven on earth. So we're looking at 2 different Antichrists playing 2 different roles here, fool the public, to fool the church. A lot of end-time delusions and deceptions coming, and so just some real possibilities on how they can play those out. So just thought I'd give a warning on that, but I do see a possibility of Maitreya arriving in September of this year. Also at the same time, complete pandemonium, because the Lord is the Most High is going to crank the power of the Orgone. You'll see the death of a lot of tares around the world. Remember I talked about the wheat and the tares, them also obviously being the tares. And so nothing that real humans have to worry about unless you're getting a vaccine. Don't get their vaccines. Another thing is that they could take vengeance on regular humans and unleash something of their own to try to mask what's happening to them, try to hide the fact that Orgone's only killing certain races or certain type beings or whatever. I think once it gets worldwide, and it will, they don't really have to worry about that, because people will say, well, it's only killing the Chinese, it's only killing the Japanese, it's only killing the Middle East. Here it is, now it's in America. They'll make it look like it's some kind of pandemic, some kind of something contagious through the air, like Black Death or something. And the Black Death killed 40 million people, and so it's, nothing to shake a stick at. And so definitely is going to be worldwide, but not something that, it's the Lord's judgment on them. And so not something we have to worry about. I wouldn't foresee them to stay away from the vaccines. Also the disruption in government, because there's going to be a lot of, these serpent seed, these shape-shifting reptilians I've been talking about for years, about how half our politicians have been soul-scalped and they're aliens, and you can look in Congress and most of the politicians have been soul-scalped, and there's just aliens using their bodies as hosts and stuff. You think it's sci-fi, and I've been telling you they've been warning you for years exactly what's going on, but they do so in a fiction format. A lot of them either taking off to hide to get away from the air, or